You know, I've been wondering about the sort of intro I would make for this video, and I decided that I just won't make one. So today we are going to be making everybody's favorite farm animal. Unless you are into like horse girls or whatever, that's like a whole different thing going on right now. That thing is like big right now. But anyways, without further ado, let's just go ahead into the video because right now we're kind of behind. However, in order to make greatness, we must first start with the basics, and in this case, we must make the head first. Now, I'm not exactly sure what sort of shape this head is, but I mean, it still worked out in the end for me, so who really cares, right? While I am filling this head in, I am going to say something, and it's just that I try to make this guy smaller than I normally do because I always make my things way too big, and it just never happened, dude. Like, I don't know what the problem is. Every time I try to make these things smaller, they just end up bigger. It's like a curse or something. I literally don't understand. Also, geez, dude, that last line took forever to record. Like, I don't know what's going on with me today. I genuinely cannot talk. Like, dude, I'm stuttering. I don't know what's happening today. But anyways, onto the oddly horrifying part of the build here where we're making the nose. But anyways, even though it looks a little odd here, I still think it came together very well in the end, even though it was super annoying to make. Now at this point I did realize that it looked a little bit like a Koopa Troopa, but later on we add on the nostrils and a little bit more structure and it really turns out very nicely in the end. Now this was actually my first time making noses on a creation here, so I tried my best and I do think they came out a little bit smaller than I wanted to, but it still gets the job done, no? Like it looks pretty good, but speaking of the nose, we actually need to put something inside of it. Now the procedure here, unlike real life, is actually pretty easy and painless. So all we have to do is just make a circle in between the holes and that's it actually. It's simple, but it's super effective as you can see. Now I've been wondering about the best way to make these black spots on here and I decided to just layer them on as we go. Now this one on the face right here is actually pretty easy and looks pretty good. But I think some of them later on look a bit odd for a little while until, you know, we fix them up. Also, this is the start of my black pipe cleaner problem and it's just a constant issue that you have to deal with whenever you use black pipe cleaners. Like, I'll delve into it a little bit later, but yeah. But right now we are on to making the eyes, and as many people know, I hate making eyes. Now this time the problem isn't actually making them, but rather the material itself, because as you can see, the eyes are a little bit shiny black, right? And this is because this is sort of rarer material that I have less of. So I'm basically saying support the channel so I can use rarer materials because I don't have much of this. Now look at that beautiful face, but even though it looks super good right now, we are not done just yet. We still have to add the ears and the horns before it is completely finished. So let's go ahead and continue on and let's put on some new background music. Now for your viewing pleasure, I did try to turn up the lighting here in order for you to see the black pipe cleaner a little bit better. But the problem is that, yeah, the lighting is just going to keep on changing and yeah, I just cannot nail it down. So I don't even know how this is going to look since I'm editing it right now, but we're just going to go with it. Okay, but literally you have to admit the lighting here does look a little bit cool now. And we're going to go ahead and finish the ears here with a little bit of pink, and I have such an excess of it from all of the Kirby videos that I have done. Now it's a little bit nostalgic because I've done them so many times, well I think like 2 times or whatever, but he's nostalgic because he's one of the first videos I ever did. So, you know, yeah. But it's too soon to be nostalgic, you know, we just got 115 subs. So let's go ahead and 100 times that and take over this entire side of YouTube pipe cleaner making. But as you can see right here, we have made the last piece that we need for the head, and that is the horns. So let's go ahead, add those on, and as you can see, this thing looks beautiful, and I think is one of the best creations I have ever made yet. But dear viewer, I have just lied to you. Yes, that is correct. All we have to do is finish up this smile here, and then this is a true masterpiece. Anyways, now we move on to the boring body here, and I did originally want him to be a little bit slumped, right? But it just didn't really come out the way I wanted it to, and I just can't get over how weird it kind of looks right here. Like, it looks a little bit naked, don't you think? But anyways, we start with making some more dark spots on this body here, and while it looks pretty good right here, I do think I made it a bit bigger than I should have, but it was still alright in the end. I was still able to work with it. Now before we make any hands or hooves or legs or whatever, we need something to lay them on. We need a vehicle, and it's time to make one. Now I just used whichever cart came up the most in a Google search. Not that I would Google search anything, of course. This is all coming from my head, creatively. And it's not like I have any reference photos or anything conveniently outside the field of the camera. Of course not, of course not. Now we're going to be making a boombox inspired motorcycle, and as you can see right here, this is the structure that we're going to be using, and it's pretty stable too, so it's going to be very nice for us. But after an hour or two, I was finally able to fill in this base here, and we can actually start making stuff for this motorcycle, like the wheels. And I actually have a very interesting idea on how to put these wheels on here. But before we put the wheels on, I'm going to make a little montage here of all the other things that we put on there before then. I did want to say just right here that these little prongs right here, I thought they were prongs, but upon further inspection, it appears that's not exactly what they were, but sometimes you have to make creative decisions, so let's just call it that and not a mess up. Now, as for the wheels right here, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and that is we're going to be cutting out this entire bottom section. So I hope we don't ruin hours of work. Luckily for me, everything went perfectly well. Now the only problem is that the insides are a little bit pointy, so don't put your fingers in there. But otherwise, I think this turned out very well for the wheels. But with this, we are finally not done with the motorcycle. We still have to add something a little bit later, and it's not that I forgot, I just want to add it later. Yeah, definitely, that's what we're going with. But now it's time to once again work on Goat the cow and its udders. Now, completely disregarding the udders, why the cow's name is Goat, I don't know. I just chose that randomly. It's just in the heat of the moment. I mean, who knows? It might be a popular hit with the fans. So now with the udders done, we can now put it onto the body. However, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap between the udders and the body. So I decided to try something different to put this onto the body. And even though it took a little while, I still think it came out very nice in the end. Now the next piece of the puzzle here is actually his collar, and I thought about many different ways to make it, but I decided that simple does good, and good is how it actually turned out. But now it is time to add the last accessory that we need, and that is this cowbell here. And surprisingly, it turned out very, very well. Like, I really like how it turned out. It was super easy to make, and it looks very, very good. Alright, so remember what I said about needing to add more to this car or whatever? Well, I did add seating in this little blob thing that I think is a button, but now it's time to add the actual handles that they're going to be controlling the vehicle with. But with this finally done, we can now start finishing up by making the tail, which I totally didn't forget about, as well as the arms and legs, which are kind of just like the same thing for a cow, no? Now as for arm and leg creation, that stuff is trivial to me. So for the last time, let's go ahead and make a montage, and let's get to the end of this. But with this, we have finally completed the project. Congratulations to me, and thanks to you for watching. So we aren't done just yet. Let's go ahead, take some last shots, and let's be on our way. All right, and that is the end of the video. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, this is the part of the video where we just talk, unfiltered, no retries, no retakes, one shot, that's it. So first off, thank you so much for the subscribers. We're growing actually, and it's good to see. It's good to see. And if you like the video, then why not subscribe? Give a like, even comment, um and yeah, that's really about it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really enjoyed how this one in particular turned out. Definitely one of my favorites, top 3, I think, for sure. And yeah, it's just been a good day. Good to see you, good for you to see me, and I'll talk to you next time.